Welcome, everybody, to Longbourn Literary Society's Society Papers broadcast episode 54, I think-ish.
I think so.
I'm author Zoe Burton, and I'm here with my friends, Leenie Brown and Rose Fairbanks, and today we're going to talk about writer tools. Before we do that, I think Rose didn't have a chance to get a graphic yet, so if she comes up with it later, we'll have her share it later. But for now, Lenie's going to...
So I think I found a quote I like. I haven't posted on the Facebook page yet, but...
Okay. Well, then she's going to share with us a quote, and Leenie is going to share it was added to our pin self-promo post, and then we're going to share our news, each of us, and then we'll start our discussion. So go ahead, Rose.
All right. So I think this is timely for our discussion this week. There's no ceremony, no initiation ritual, no secret handshake. All you need to be a writer is to write. For our discussion this week.
Sorry, I'm trying to push the down button. There we go. I'm sorry.
So, we're going to talk about tools that work for us, but it's certainly not a requirement to be a writer. We probably didn't start out with any of these things. I started out writing pen and paper. So.
Great. Okay. Oh,
cool.
I didn't remember to put Rose on the screen when you were talking. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We're working on our ventriloquy act is what it is.
Yeah, that's it. So you just sit there and move your mouth. And we'll say the words for you.
I'm still on YouTube.
You should be switching.
There we go. Now I'm gone.
Yeah. Okay, so if I scroll, oh, look, it even scrolls for me. Okay. I get so excited about learning new things. Our self-promo post, we had a couple of things this week. I think there were 3, maybe just been 2, but Cheryl has posted that her book, which she writes under the name Lily Bernard, is live on Amazon tomorrow, the 31st.
Ooh, congrats.
So it's still on pre-order today. You could pick it up for pre-order and then have it tomorrow. And that is called The Harvest Ball. And it is book 2 of her New Beginnings series. And then Joy has a book for free until tomorrow as well. And that's Mr. Darcy's Bad Day. And that is a book that she wrote as Christy Capps. That's her other pen name. And okay. I don't know that I actually remember reading this one. There's 3 weeks until the Longbourn Conundrum goes live on the 19th of April. So that is something to look forward. Does it say? I couldn't remember if it said that it was on pre-order, but it must be because there's a link. There's an Amazon link, so it must be on pre-order. So you can check that out. And it does say, please read the full blurb, as the warnings at the end are definitely necessary because it's a darker type story. So make sure that you read those. I have not read those, but look for them. Okay, I'll stop sharing that.
I have to interrupt because somebody has to go potty.
Okay, well,
I'll be back.
That's okay.
We'll get back to you for your news.
Right.
I did get the quote posted on Facebook now.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not fancy. It's just the words on a purple background that I found on Pinterest. But if you wanted to share it, it's there now. And I saved it as an announcement. I'm handy sometimes.
Oh, wow, good for
Quick
you.
on the draw, even though I was behind.
Well,
my life in a nutshell.
Oh, it happens to all of us. I was a little behind today just because I had to wait to get into the bathroom and that sort of thing because we only have one, and my son was taking a shower, and I didn't want to make him wait because he's still really itchy from his chicken pox.
Oh, yeah.
He still has spots that are showing up, so I don't know if we're going to have to go back or what, but...
Yeah, well, I was going to say you're a super nice mom, but I guess that's kind of, yeah. He's not
well, I
good.
am.
Well, yes, but I would be like, mom gets to shower. Except for,
well,
that's what I'd say, but mom doesn't get to shower.
I had already showered, so otherwise it wouldn't have been quite so nice. I'm very cranky till I get a shower. There's no ceremony, no initiation rite, no secret handshake. All you need to be a writer is to write. And I love the color they have on that.
Yeah.
It's
blue. I looked purple on my phone.
Well,
Maybe
it
I was
looks a
looking at the
little
one next to
purple
it.
to me here.
Yeah.
So it's a bluish purple, and it's a gradient color. So
Exactly. I
it
was
goes
going to
from
say the
light to dark.
gradient. So
Yeah.
Oh, I like the little thing at the bottom too. Good days are coming, friend. So
yeah, that's nice.
I've found a lot of those writer positivity with numbers on them on Pinterest. I haven't seen like 1 through like less than 50. I'm really not sure what's going on there. But somebody somewhere has had the same idea where they make a bunch of positivity quotes. I think, yeah, someday I'll just need to make some of my own to make them apply, I guess. Sorry,
Right.
I scrolled down on my book page and saw reviews.
Don't do that. Don't go there.
I got called preachy in one the other day. I think that is the newest one still, but I was looking at the star ranking.
Oops.
Yeah, you know. Oh, I don't hear you.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I tabbed over to the page on YouTube, but I have it muted, so I shouldn't be hearing anybody else. So,
I
anyway.
just tapped over there and I did hear me because it wasn't muted. So.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what I was thinking. Anyway, I just, if you think I'm preachy for saying that we need to end childhood sexual abuse, then I'm sorry. Like, oh well. And get used to it because there's more coming. So not specifically just that topic, but I just mean like that's what I want to do with my books. I definitely do romance, but I want to talk about other things too. And I can do both. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Right.
But Zoe's back.
Yes. Can you hear me still?
I see you and hear you.
Yes.
Okay, good. Good.
All right. Okay, so I can start with my news, I guess. Actually, I have to get my tablet for this because I wrote it out last night on my blog post. See, you're not the only one struggling for words.
We're all. It's a hot mess Saturday, I think.
I do that frequently, though. The words escape me. So
there's a reason why we prefer to write, I feel like.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can communicate much better when I'm writing because then if I have to stop and think of a word or look it up in a thesaurus or something, I can.
Search for those 4-syllable words like Mr. Darcy.
Yeah, no. I don't usually look for those. All right, so here we go. So I didn't get tons done this week. I got stuff done, but not as much as I had wanted to do. But it still wasn't bad. I got one chapter of His Darling Friend written, and I think I'm to the point where I'm going to. Things are supposed to kind of get stirred up a little bit now as we head towards the conclusion of that one because it's not supposed to be a super long story. It's already longer than the first one that was in that series is. Then I did one chapter of A Scandal in Springtime, where the poor hero does not acquit himself very well at all. He has a little case of Darcyitis. I wrote one chapter of Loving Lydia, and that was Mary gets to meet, what is his name? Westonbury.
Yes.
Lord Westonbury. And we'll just say that they did not become fast friends. Mary was really
that.
I really like it.
Mary was fun. And then I wrote an Austin Authors post that I will not be using until May because I was reading a book. I started reading a book. It is called Story Trumps Structure, How to Write Unforgettable Fiction by Breaking the Rules, and it's by Stephen James. And I'm only up to like chapter 3 so far, but I've been really enjoying what he's been saying. He's not an outliner either, and I think maybe that's why I connect with what he's saying a little bit better. And he doesn't use the word pantser. He uses the word intuitive writer for those who write without outlines.
I've heard that somebody else uses that too.
Yeah, I
Maybe
like.
they use discovery writer.
Yeah, I've heard discovery writer as well. And he's not, obviously from the title of the book, he's not one of those that thinks you have to keep to a particular structure all the time. If your story needs something different, do something different. If it needs a prologue, give it a prologue. If it doesn't need a prologue, don't give it a prologue. And, those sorts of things is what I've read so far. And it was an article by him on, I think it was Writer's Digest, where I'd read the article that sparked the idea for the post that I am doing the 9th. So not this Tuesday, but the following Tuesday on Osman authors. So you'll probably hear a lot about things from his book for a while, because it's going to take me forever to read it. I don't read those sort of things very quickly because I don't have a lot of time for reading. And I like to split it sometimes between, fun stuff and learning stuff.
It takes a while to really absorb things sometimes too. Like when
it does.
You're learning new things and recreating something in your mind and figuring out how to make it work for you.
Yeah, I like to make connections between it and what I've read or what I'm writing. So yeah, it takes a while. I did finish finally listening to an abridged version of Northanger Abbey on YouTube. It was Learn English Through Literature or something like that was the name of it. So it was, simpler English and all of that, but still had the story, and it was shorter. I think the full version is 7 hours and this one was 4. So I listened to it, when I was cooking or doing laundry and doing dishes and things like that are kind of boring. And I think that's all that I did this week. Oh, and I came up with a spreadsheet that I'm going to try using for my Amazon ads to see if I can start figuring out what some of the numbers mean as far as, how they're working. And that's it for me. So who's going to be next? Rose?
Sure. I've got a list.
All right. There you are.
Okay. So I've not done much writing this week. I did a whole whopping, wait for it. Are you sure you're ready for it? A whole 100 words. I think it was 131. We got to count each and every one of those. And it's last week I'd done another 100 on that chapter. And I think what I realized is that it's the wrong chapter. So I'm going to go back. I think I was just trying to jump forward to a few things. I was thinking that if I showed something, it would be kind of rote. Elizabeth is meeting the ton. This is Lady Darcy's Blue Stocking Club. So the sequel to Mr. Darcy's Blue Stocking Bride, which has been out almost 2 years now. And, everyone's really wanting the sequel now. I keep getting messages about it. So I have been working on it, and I worked on it last year, and then other things came up, and then I got sick, and yeah. So it is my focus for this year. And anyway, so Elizabeth has to meet the ton and everything, and some people are not going to be very nice, but she's going to make some friends too and everything. And I think I needed to think of some ways to do that so where it wasn't boring and everyone else has always done it sort of thing. Because originally I was thinking of just skipping forward and I was telling and not showing, but what I want to show, I want it to be interesting. So yeah, so some of those things are gonna go at least one chapter ahead, and I've got to go backwards. So, oh well. But now I know kind of what was making me slow, even health-wise. I was slower than I needed to be still. So I might not really get a chance to come back and work on it until I'm done moving, but I can think about it a whole lot. And once I have a really clear picture in my head of what's coming next, then that's when I can write really fast, and that's when it's flowing. I don't want to say I waited for the muse, but I did. I was just I need to just write. I need to just get back in the habit. I'm going to write, even though I don't know what I'm doing, what's coming next. And then so I wrote, and I was just like, this is not right. This is not working. And so then I was able to sit back and realize, oh, okay, this is what I do need to do. But if I had never made myself write even those 100 words when I was really tired and wanted to not write, then I would still be sitting there going, I don't know what to do next, because I have the outline, but it still wasn't connecting in my head, because even though I'm an outliner, I'm not super detailed about it. It kind of starts to take better shape as I go forward. So usually by the last couple chapters, I have like a lot more detail by then. I'm like, okay, I need these 6 scenes to do these things, and that's how we wrap up the story. And I know that, but like at the beginning, I'm just kind of like, I know the highlights, like where they got to go, but I don't know every mile on the way, sort of thing. So, but I am moving on the 10th, and my husband is out of town until the 5th. So I really don't know that I'm going to get much done. I did have it on my list. I started bullet journaling again last week, which worked really great for me last summer when I did rapid releases. And so I did have it on my list, and I didn't get it done any single day, but I got other things done. And I've been sick a lot, and I'm homeschooling, so I've kind of focused more on the homeschooling this week, just because we need to kind of catch up on some things, and because the move's going to make another hiccup in that. So, unfortunately, the writing will have to wait a little bit, but it will get there. And I think my head's in a good space for it now. I did do some graphics.
Good.
I got some of them scheduled for the next week. I can't remember if I did the covers last week or the week before, but Mr. Darcy's Blue Stocking Bride and Secrets of Pemberley have new covers. Let's see. I've tinkered with a couple Amazon ads. Still, I need to take a course on them, but I'm just not in that position yet. I mean, it's like whole life is on hold right now with the move. So just like the writing, I'm just going to tinker a little bit, see where I am, see if I can kind of get a feel for things before I take the course. I'm not sinking a whole lot of money into them or anything, but sometimes I learn by doing. So let's see. On my blog, that's going to kind of be my goal next week. In the next couple of days, I want to schedule a couple posts for the blog again, because I do miss doing that. But it just hasn't been able to be my priority. But I have been doing an MS check-in on Mondays. So I've had that the last couple of weeks. I've got another one scheduled for this coming Monday. I'm just going to try to incorporate that and some other lifestyle things a little bit more into my blog. Because for some reason, I don't know why, no one wants to see me pontificate for 800 words about persuasion or something. those sorts of blog posts were only getting 3 views or something like that, maybe 30 views, and who knows how long they were staying. They might just accidentally clicked it, and then like 1 comment or lots of 0 comments. So I've known going into 2019, when I looked at all this in last year, that those sorts of blog posts were going to be less frequent, and some people on Facebook said that they would be more interested in lifestyle things. So we'll see. I don't know that loads of people are super interested in MS. The first couple posts did definitely get a lot of support. So we'll see if they still like it once a week. I might just do it once a month or something. I did want to say that I haven't done like professional development, but I have been working some personal development back in. And so I started listening to Girl, Stop Apologizing by Rachel Hollis. And for me, like, even though it's personal, it affects my professional viewpoint and everything. And it's geared towards the businesswoman. So as an author entrepreneur, I am a businesswoman. So that's definitely helping me think about things. I'm like just a couple pages and it's chapter 1 sort of thing. I listen to it when I'm in the shower. Which, if you saw on Facebook, my shower the other day was less than 3 minutes. So didn't get to listen for very long that day. So yeah, I kind of like it. Over the last summer, I listened to Girl, Wash Your Face by her, and I really liked that. So I've been looking forward to this one. We'll see what I think about it. It's definitely stretching my mindset right now. It's saying that have your goals, and as long as they're not criminal or something, you don't need anyone's permission to do them. So that's really different for me because, you know, I have a husband and I don't ever ask his permission really, but I would like it. I would like his support, and I really stop and I evaluate. I'm like, is this harmful to the family? Is this, you know, like I beat myself up over those sorts of things. And I'll, you know, continue to watch, you know, see what she says about stuff, but she's really challenging that mindset of the guilt that we put ourselves through. So hopefully this will be a good thing. She mentioned some Regency romance books that she read over the Christmas, so I thought that was interesting. Maybe she read something that we've read. She was talking about dukes and stuff. So, and also with all my rest time, I've gotten tired of just sitting there doing nothing or just watching TV, of which I just rewatch what I've already watched. So I've been doing some YouTube videos that I've watched, and some of them are about like productivity and stuff. Again, like more personal, but I see how it would work professionally for me. And one of them talked about block scheduling, which I think Leenie does something pretty similar. So it's just about not thinking about your life hour by hour, which I know I've done that. Like I've literally have a chart before I got sick, and I was like, this is what my winter schedule is going to be like. And it was broken up hour by hour from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. And yeah, you know, we were going to go, and, you know, that doesn't work for me. That's not working for my kids. So I'm excited to try that again after the move. So, and I've somehow stretched very little news into a long period of time. I'm amazingly talented like that.
You are.
I am. I see the opposite point of view, or the optimistic point of view all the time is what it is.
Cool.
So I'm done.
Okay, Zoe.
My turn? Okay. I just can't look at me. Sorry. I had me clicked on and I was like, no, you can't look at you. My Patreon only story is done.
Yay.
I'm excited. It's called Darcy's Secret Marriage. And I might as well tell you guys, I told people last night, and I'm pretty sure I told my newsletter people. It's finished. It's out with readers. I'm starting to get feedback coming back in from readers. I'm going to say this knowing that every time I set a date, something happens. But I'm hoping to publish this around April 12th. I don't anticipate it taking me a huge long time to get the edits made. And I'll have to print it out and, you know, go through it, the printed version, and then so I make sure that I've got as good as I can get it. But I'm hoping around the 12th to have it out, which is like 2 weeks. But we all know what happens when I set dates. Once I have it ready to upload, I don't know if I'll do a pre-order. The thought occurred to me last night. I just don't know. But I might want to just for a few days so I can get the print copy. So they both go out kind of the same time. So I don't know, but about the time I get ready to, you know, upload it, then I'll start sharing it at Darcy and Lizzie, and I'll do like I always do, which is 2 or 3 chapters at a time every day until I'm done. And there's like 23 chapters, so that's going to probably be a week or close to it. My Austin Authors post is Monday, day after tomorrow, and there's a giveaway. 2 people are going to win ebook copies of Darcy's Secret Marriage, but the prizes won't go out until, you know, I get all the edits and stuff done. Of course, I think everything should happen right around the same time because the prizes will be announced on the 14th, and if I have it live by then, it's really not going to matter. But anyway, I have not chosen a new story yet. I've got ideas, you know, plot bunnies that people have given me and other plot bunnies hopping around inside my head. And I have to pick one – at some point. I don't know if I'll do a pre-order. The thought occurred to me last night. I just don't know. But I'm hoping around April 12th to have it out, which is 2 or 3 chapters at a time every day until I'm done. And then But I might hold off on that for a couple weeks. Normally I start thinking about it while I'm doing the formatting and stuff of the story that I just finished. But I'm working around 2 side jobs. And so I might wait until at least one of those side jobs is kind of, because one of them is a short-term thing. And I might wait for that to get done and then worry about it, because I really want to keep up. So I have a deadline for the one side job. For my blog posts, I had a couple posts this past week. I had a Monday post, and I think a Tuesday post, and a Thursday post. So this week, yesterday afternoon, I managed to get 4 posts up and ready. So I still have to do a Friday. I have to write a Friday post, and people are going to crucify me if I don't get a Friday post up in the next couple weeks. So I'm going to try maybe either tomorrow or Monday to pound out 1,000 words on that. But like I said, that side job kind of has to. The side job is probably going to be first, because I think part of my problem getting it done is that I'm doing it after I do the other side job, and then my brain is already like, okay, I'm done. But if I do the one first and then maybe some of my writing and then the other side job, we'll see how that goes. But we'll see. I got tickets to a writers conference in Las Vegas that I've been wanting. I've probably been talking about it for a couple of months, and I've been saving money back. But it's in Las Vegas, like right around mid-month, like the 11th through the 12th or something. So I've long had, I got my room in like November, December. I got my airline ticket in January. And now I've got my ticket for the conference. So now I'm putting back for things like dog sitting and parking and stuff like that. But and meals, because they only give us 1 meal. We're responsible for the rest. But that's what's new. That's all that's new in my world. I don't know. I probably seem kind of strange today. It's allergy season. I've got a massive headache, and I'm discombobulated because I was up in Ashtabula watching my great nephew run soapbox derby, and so I didn't have hours to get my poop in a group. So I'm like, I feel scattered, and I don't like, I told the girls before we got on the air, I said, I don't really like this feeling, but there we go. Such is mine. It's me today. So there we go.
I think you seemed more with it than I am. So.
Quite possible.
All right. So I have some categories that we're going to go through. We said we were going to take a peek inside our writer toolboxes today, and we thought instead of just listing off everything that each of us uses, it might be better to do it in categories and separate them out a little bit. We haven't organized anything terribly formally here or anything like that, but try to put a little bit of organization to it. I am a little wiggly today because my leg and my hip is hurting a little bit, and this chair is not being terribly friendly to it. So I will be more wiggly than normal, and I'm usually pretty wiggly. Well, why don't we start by just where we would start with our writing, like if we do any planning or getting prepared to write. And yeah, I think that would probably be a good place to start. So I'll say I don't do a ton of planning. I usually open a Word document and I create a chart. Sometimes I use sticky notes, sometimes I use paper and crayons because I like colors, or markers. And that's about all that I do for, like planning, starting a story. However, I do have a calendar. It's a notebook style calendar that I keep things in. And I also have a few other charts that I use for things. Well, this is see, this has crayon on it too, but this is how I would plan out social media posts so that I know that I have at least something going out each day, or a couple of things going out each day and where they're going to, and that sort of thing, so that I can kind of keep on track with some of that. And I have next to me, I have 3 small calendars on my wall, and I'll have little colored stickers on there. They're just little round dots. And yellow means that's the day I have an Austin Authors post. Green means that's the day when I think I'm going to have something that's going to publish or go out. Right now, I don't have any green dots on April or May, but I know that there should be a green dot coming up in May, at least one. I'm thinking of doing a second cottage collection bundle of the Darcy Dash of Darcy and Companions series books. So that I would like to have that out before the long weekends in May, Memorial Day in the States and Victoria Day here in Canada. So those are my planning things. So who would like to be next?
I'll go.
Okay.
My planning has evolved well, I don't know that evolved is the right word. I'm all over the place. So I started out being totally a pantser, discovery, whatever you want to call it, okay? And with no plan whatsoever. Well, then I did then I had the little chart, and I've showed everybody the chart before with the 3, all right. Well, I've evolved that to basically it's scrap paper. So I reach down here and I'll grab a piece of scrap paper. There ought to be some down here somewhere. And then I will take that scrap paper and I'll figure out, I want a book that's approximately 50,000 words. And I'll write, all right. And I'll have obstacles. Obstacle 1, obstacle 2, obstacle 3, obstacle 4. And I'll write that, figure out what those are. And I know 25% into the book, I want obstacle 1. So, I'll write the word count that I need, my target word count to reach. So we've got that point and all the way and do like that. And because I don't have myself together today. Oh, look, here's one right here. Here's what it looks like. When it's done, just a big list, big bunch of paragraphs with stuff. And that's to keep track of, I'm big on keeping track of my word counts every day, but I don't have and I have a planner and I have some very pretty, I have a 2-day-a-month planner. I have some very pretty, like this one. On this side, I keep track of my word counts. And over here is my list of this is what you have to do. And this is the time chunks. This was a couple days ago. Today's does not look like that. Because today, probably no writing is going to get done today. I've got too much else to do, which sounds terrible when you're a professional writer, but you'll have that. But that's the extent of my planning, basically. I would love to be able to sit down and say, okay, like Leenie does. Leenie's really good with this. I know I want to release. I'm planning on, and if I could be more like Leenie, honestly,
We're always saying this.
We are, and it's so true. I would give something up to be a little more like Leenie. I'm too laid back. Okay. I know she's a workaholic, but I'm way too laid back. And things just don't, I don't know. I don't understand it. I want to be more like Leenie. So I don't know. I hope to get 6 books out this month or this year.
This month.
I was like, whoa.
Month? Whoa. In my dreams. I hope to, but I might have to be happy with 4 because it's already March 30th and I don't have a single release. I'm telling you, people.
Well, wait a second. I didn't have Secrets of Pemberley came out last year on March 29th. So I had Secrets of Pemberley. I had the 3 Loving Elizabeth novellas. Then I had How Darcy Saved Christmas. So that was 5. And yeah, so that was 5. And I had Maid of Inverness. I think that's how this town is called. But I'd written that before. I just published that year. Wasn't there something else I did? Well,
Did you
I
do a
guess
Christmas?
that was how Darcy saved Christmas. That was the fifth one.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked a lot on Mr. Darcy's Compassion. That's what I was thinking,
Yeah.
but it didn't come out.
Yeah.
And that's because I was thinking it'd be ready to come out in January, but then, you know, MS happened. So
Right. See,
Um,
I released a book in January of last year, but it was written the year before. It was my Nano book.
right.
So then I wrote 3 novels and a novella, a Christmas novella, which came out, of course, the day after Christmas because I'm Zoe Burton and this is how we work. Okay. Apparently I need I need somebody standing over me with a baseball bat. Okay.
Well, I just mean you can still do.
Yeah.
There's 5,
Yeah.
you know, because I had a couple things going on. I moved
You did a couple
in
times.
June. I went to that conference.
Yes.
I had kids and all their stuff, and then I got sick. So I mean, it would be tight. Okay, the summer where I wrote 3 novellas, I had a couple chunks before, and I had been planning that story for like years. But yeah, I worked myself sick a few times.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't recommend that. But if you really wanted to, you could do it.
Well, that's the thing. I have worked really hard and I've been chained to my desk for like 3 weeks, and I hurt. My arms hurt. My shoulders hurt. I haven't gotten I was at like 40 minutes on the treadmill. I've been walking the dogs like 2 miles, each dog separately, which is about 40 minutes on a treadmill. But I need more motion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I need more motion. So I don't know. There's a disconnect. There's a disconnect in here. I have issues. But that's I want to be like Leenie. Okay?
We all have issues.
We all have issues. I wish I could figure mine out.
What we do is we take our issues and we put them on a page.
Yeah. But but that's basically my planning. I sit down, I do that. I have tried. I love sticking stickers. That's what I loved about Nano. I had something to work for, and my competitive nature said, and I tried to do that after Nano, and it just didn't work. So I have this right track that I love to use, but every time I set it up, it's just like setting a date for a publication.
Do you think it's because you reward yourself? Like if someone else was the one saying, no, I'm not going to give you that sticker, Zoe?
That's probably, yes. I think me being in charge is a big issue. I think if somebody else was standing here saying, listen, I'm not paying you until you get that done.
Well, yeah. Okay? I mean, that's how it works. But
I mean, it does. But I mean, I'm not giving you this reward. Like, I'll take you out for a steak dinner if you write 5,000 words today. Oh, you better bet your bippy I'm going to have that 5,000 words done.
And sometimes you do races, like I've seen comments where you're like, I beat Leenie in word count today.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff. And I know I've tried to like do writer buddy stuff with you, but then I also have accountability issues that, I'm legally
you have a reason
obligated to do.
You have a reason for your
Unfortunately, there was still a parenting weeks. Yes. I don't have anyone else I can pass the buck to. But I mean, as they get older, I think things will mostly be easier, like when they've played Little League for 5 years or something, I don't think I have to go to every practice or every game, mom has to work. That'll be okay, sort of thing. But like right now, when they're still really little, it's a big deal.
Right.
So, should I go into my planning now, I guess?
Sure.
So this is old Rose because new Rose doesn't really know how she's working all this out. Because I have to be more mindful of the mess. And in the past, I've talked about this. I've had these flares apparently for years where this is why I have a good system and then everything falls apart and then I'm in bed, but then I get better and then I work until I'm in bed again. And so this time around though, I don't know that the energy is coming back. I really don't. I'm not going to push myself until I'm literally collapsing again. Although at this point that would be one day. So I've done that. Like I've been like, hey, I feel pretty good today. And then the next day I'm like dead. Like probably tomorrow. Like I've done too much today. I already know. Because I had to go to Walgreens to drop off my daughter's prescription, pick up some things. We were out of like soap. And then I had to run to the grocery store really fast. And now I'm doing this, and I probably won't have a lot of time to rest this afternoon. And yeah, so that means tomorrow I probably won't be up and doing anything until 10 or 11. But that'll be okay because I've got some food for the kids to get into. So they can fend for themselves for a couple hours in the morning. They're not in diapers and stuff, and we'll be fine. Yeah, so this is old Rose. But so my stories, I get ideas for scenes, and I usually write those down. I used to handwrite them, but now I do type them. And so I have lots of stories that are started, and a lot of them don't go anywhere for a while. So I do have to think about it for a little bit. But then I do think about story structure, and I'm sitting out, well, what's going to be Act 1, what's going to be Act 2, Act 3. I usually just do that in a Word document. Once I have a good idea, like I typically for the year, I map out, these are the stories that are screaming in my head the loudest. So these are probably the ones I'm going to be working on. Can always change. So I've got that as a chart, which I don't know where it is right now because I'm moving and I've been sick. So life is crazy. I've got a whole lot of papers around me, but I don't know where it is. And then I've also got like a chart for social media posts, which again, I'm not keeping up with, and the same thing with blog posts. So my calendar idea is like what I did at the beginning of the year for this year before I got sick was I wanted a release every 2 to 3 months, and then I had estimated word count, how long I thought it would be, and also how many words I had on it at the moment that I typed this up. And I thought I would probably update the list like every month or something. So then I could see like how many words I had to go. And then I had a time frame, like if I want this to publish in March, then I'm working on it in January and February sort of thing. Within that for 2019, the original plan was I was also working on the non-JAF stories that all year long that I wanted to publish in December. And now I've kind of changed my plan for that. I would like to just get one book out. And if they're not rapid releases, then, oh, well, I'll just slowly grow that part of my line. I am probably going to use a different pen name, but I'm not going to hide it. Like everyone's going to know it's another Rose Fairbanks name, basically. But yeah, so that's kind of my thing. A lot of things are just Microsoft Word at that point. Or scraps of paper, bullet journal. I actually have a couple things in my bullet journal, but the one right in front of me, I stopped using, and then I used a different one because I didn't like the binding on it, but then I didn't like the new binding either, so now I'm back to this one. But anyway, so it's got like an old chart, but I guess it's not any worse than the other one. So like this, I don't know if you can see. Yep. So a lot of times I have to think with paper and pen, and then I type it out too. So, and then if my husband would let me hang anything on the walls, I would put it on my wall, but instead I don't, and then things kind of get lost. But I also have to save it on Word. So that's where I'm pulling things up a lot instead of having like things hanging in a handy place. So
I use painter's tape to hang anything on my wall.
Oh, I could try that. Yeah. I've done command strips for some things.
Yeah. So. I have a big calendar over here. You know what I had to do? It's like one of those great big 4-month planning calendars. I had to, because tape, nothing would hold it on the wall. It's wallpaper, right?
Yeah.
I had to use a hole punch, put a hole in each end of the top, and put nails in the wall to hang that sucker up. It works, but
yeah. Well, I think
it's the house me and the bank own.
So I think the next place we can they don't have a rule about hanging. This place also has textured walls, so some things like the painter's tape might not work as well.
Right.
Next place doesn't have that though, so hopefully. And I think we're going to be there longer.
I hope.
Oh, I'm going to be there longer. I'll tell you that. I'm going to be there. So, no, really, really though, we should be there longer. I was trying to find if I had anything else in this book. Oh, here we go. Here's another thing. So again, just in my notebook, this is plotting out the non-Regency series. I was working on some titles, and the year they're set in, 1811, tempting scandal with the couple is Sylvia and Nate, and the trope, the conflict is Luddites, and the trope is a forced marriage. And then 1812 is the next one, beguiling friendship. It's Penelope and Jonathan. So I know they need to show up in the first one as kind of supporting characters. And it's going to be about the Percival assassination, and it's friends to lovers. So it's kind of Emma-like. And then I continued, and that's where I noticed that what I had was I think originally, like, I had these ideas years ago, and I was stopping like in 1816. I was like, well, why don't I just round it out and I'll do the entire actual Regency? So then I had to think of some other ideas, and somewhere in one of my pages, there's like, I wasn't sure. So I was just looking at a timeline, like Wikipedia timeline, basically, for all the different things that I could possibly use as a conflict. And so there was like 10 things to choose from for each year. And then I just had to think about it. So some of them here, 1819, there's the Peterloo Massacre, the Burlington Arcade. I could possibly do a workplace romance sort of thing. And I don't have a couple planned out for that yet. So, but that's okay because that's 8 books away.
Right.
So I kind of plan, I kind of pants. I'm a mess a lot of the time. Yep. So yeah, pen and paper or Microsoft Word mostly.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. This could take us a while to get through these.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm going to start talking fast.
We might have to do a continued.
I've been saying that since I was like 3 years old, but
Yeah.
we're going to talk less.
One of these days. Okay. So then we've done our planning using, sounds like mostly just pen and paper, some planners, and Microsoft Word. Then we need to do some writing and formatting. So I'll start here. Since I've had to be quiet for a long time because Zoe and Rose are talking. I'm just teasing. I'm going to share my screen for for this one. I think I got the right thing. Let's see how that goes. All right. So I write in Microsoft Word. I just open a document and I write straight down through beginning to end. I don't do scenes. I don't jump around or any of that. But I do, when I do formatting, I know this is different from what Rose and Zoe do. That's why I'm sharing it. I use a service to do my formatting for me. Okay, that didn't help. I put it down instead of putting it up. Okay, and this is Pressbooks, is the company, pressbooks.com. And you go in and you can set up your book. In here, I'll show you the organized page. And it's just like you would see, blog posts pretty much. I'll click on one of the chapters just so you can see that it looks like a blog post. You have your title, and then you have your words underneath. And it'll tell you a word count there. And when you have the whole thing, you look at the whole organized page, it'll tell you how many words are exported and how many words are in the whole entire book and that sort of thing. And you can organize them this is a collection. So I organized it by book. So each book has a different section with their chapters. And then there's front matter and there's back matter as well. is a paid service. This one is upgraded already. If not, they have two options. The ebook Pro is $19.99 if you don't have any discounts, and the PDF and ebook Pro, which gives you everything, is $99.99, and those are US dollar amounts. And they usually run once a month. There's some sort of promotion that they'll run, although they've been doing it a little bit less frequently and not quite as predictably lately, which kind of annoys me a little bit, because I used to know exactly when I could probably get it for 40% off. So you can get them, with a code, you can get them more cheaply if you're signed up to their emailing list. And what this does for you is it takes out any of the watermarks. You could produce a book on here and you could, print it out and look at it and read it and stuff, but it would have watermarks all through it that would say, produced by press books type of thing. So you can set up your whole book before you have to upgrade it. It's only when you want to export it, and you can just get the ebook, or you can get it for ebook and print. So if I'm just doing a book for an ebook, then I would only spend the $20. I wouldn't spend the $100 to do it. But I'll show you. Export. That's what I'm looking for. So when you go to export, you just have these options that you can click, and you can get all sorts of different formats. And then you just click the export your book, and then it comes up and you download it, and voila, you've got it. And just like on a blog, there are different themes that you can use. I use the Bronte theme to write Jane Austen books. Isn't that funny? And then there is an Austen one as well, which is nice, but they've got several different types of themes that you can use, and that'll dictate like what kind of fonts are being used in it and all that sort of thing. But this is the part where it gets a little tricky. Like if you want if you want to customize it, then you do have to know some CSS code, or you need to have a child who knows CSS code, because you can pay him with a lasagna or something, which he did for me. I said, I'll make you lasagna if you will help me fix the margins. So the one thing that I do on the print books, their margins are fairly big, I find, just in their standard way that they do things. So I had him fix the margins for me. The middle, the gutter margin, where the book joins, I leave that one fairly large because I don't like having to break the binding to see the words. Yeah. And the outside one is smaller, so I've used it for that. Okay, and that is basically all I use for writing and for formatting. One thing that's nice with the press books is I will often send out sneak peeks to my mailing list, and all I have to do is I can publish those like a blog post where they're private with a password. And so if I give the password to my mailing list, then they can read more than what I would just have available to the public. I usually have the first chapter available, and that's what I use for my preview. If you're on my blog and you click a preview of a book, you're gonna get taken to one of these sites. And then when I send it out to my mailing list, I can just say, and this password's only good until when the book goes live, and then you won't be able to see these anymore, but it's only for them. And I don't have to send them any documents. I don't have to create anything in BookFunnel or anything like that to do that for them. So that is handy. And now let's go with Zoe's.
Okay. I write in Microsoft Word, and I format myself. I don't use, like Leenie uses a service. I format myself, which can often lead to headaches, anger problems, cussing. But I just do it all. I've learned to use the navigation pane if I need to find something in my Word document. I don't like the navigation pane, but if I need to find something, I can click on show the view navigation pane and it pops up on the side and I can more easily find it. And then I can get rid of the navigation pane again. But I format myself, and then I make my own Mobi and EPUB files. And I'm going to share, screen share, application window.
Forgot about that.
Judo, share. There's this program called Judo, which you ought to be able to see. I've got one eye on my tablet so that when it pops up, but you can, there it is. That's Judo. And you can, I don't even know how to get rid of this, but like you just create a new project and you can just import, you just fill all your information in and you keep going to the different, through all the different things. And then it imports it. And then you choose, you come up here and you click compile, which is grayed out right now. And it will take your formatted thing. And all I do to format is I put in an interactive table of contents, which means there's bookmarks within the document and you click on the links to go to the different chapters. And then, but this Judo will put the cover in it. There's a place where you upload your cover into it or import your cover into it. And then that's it. And you go, it compiles it and you have to check it and there's errors you have to fix, but then you can go, wait, this has to go away. Oh, now I can see. But it basically make an EPUB that I can upload to like Kobo and Apple and Nook, and it makes a Mobi Pocket file, which I can upload to Kindle. And then for print, to get my PDF for print is the one that'll give me headaches, because sometimes Microsoft Word just does not want to do what you want Microsoft Word to do. It has its own mind. It does whatever the heck it wants. And, oh, you wanted me to do something else? Oh, well, isn't that just too bad? So, but I do like Leenie, and I like my margins. Like I keep the middle margin, but I like my other margins, to be a little narrower. So I just use Microsoft Word and I go up in there and do all that myself and page breaks. And sometimes though, I've really gotten better. It used to be, it would absolutely enrage me and I would try to keep at it until I got it done because it was a challenge and no inanimate object is going to get it over on me. Right. But then I would be so angry that I would not be able to do anything. I'd be seriously, literally stomping around cussing and just being mean, throwing things, threatening to throw my computer. But I have learned over the last couple of years that when I start to have problems and I start feeling myself getting frustrated, I do get up. But sometimes it might take me 3 days to format that dang print book. But so far, and Rose has rescued me at least 3 times because I sent it to her and she fixes it.
You know what? My first print book took me like 2 weeks just to get the headers right, and they still weren't right when I printed. So
yeah, so I've printed some of
3
my
days.
Books
That's nothing.
Yeah, some of my books are just not quite right, but they're my best. And you know what? There's people out there with worse. So, I've seen ebooks that didn't even have page breaks. They did no table of contents, which I don't know how you got away with, because I thought that was a requirement for a Kindle book, and no page breaks. It was just one great big long document. I said, oh, okay.
It's like they have to go out of their way to do that or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you who it was, but
were they old? Like,
yeah,
I think
this one was older.
Okay.
And I haven't gotten anything by that author in a long time.
Well, so what I've heard is that ebook like used to require like knowing some code and stuff like in the early 2000s. But by the time we were publishing, Kindle could take just a like manuscript
Yeah.
and figure it out. So
Yeah. Well, I
maybe
don't
that was
know.
it.
But at any rate, I do it the hard way. I don't pay somebody. And you know what? I've thought about it because it really would save me some time. Right. And clearly some stress. But I just like being in control. So I don't know. I know at some point in the future, I'm going to have to give that up. I am. I don't know how I'm going to manage it. Just the thought gives me palpitations. I don't know. I'm a control freak, whatever. But perfectionist, I guess. I don't know. I want it a certain way, but anyway, that's what I do. I do it the hard way because I am Zoe Burton, and that's how we roll.
Yeah, I formatted my first book, and I was like, no, my time is too valuable. I'm not going to waste it on this. And I didn't want to feel that angry as that first one made me feel. So that's why I chose to do this. And because I am that sort of perfectionist and I like things certain ways, this way, I've even gone back and made sure that first book was done through Pressbooks now so that they all look the same. Everything is just the same. It always turns out exactly the same every single time.
Sometimes it works like a charm. And in 5 or 6 hours, I have a beautifully formatted print copy. And other times, and you never know. But I've started updating my computer before I even begin trying to format. And that seems to make a difference. So maybe it's just all in my head. I don't know, but like I got some updates that need done, Windows Update that I've been putting off for 2 months. All those suckers are getting done this week. But sometimes it's just it's easy as pie, and sometimes it's a nightmare. So I don't know.
Okay. Well, I started all my stories on pen and paper, and then I would type them up into Google Drive, because I wrote mostly on my tablet, on my Apple Mini. So not even a full keyboard, because I had really little kids and I could take it around and it fit in my purse and I could take it places. So yeah. Now I write in Word. So what I had to do then was I would write in Google Drive, and one of my betas would read on Google Drive and the other one could only read Microsoft Word attachments. So then I'd have to copy the chapter and put it into Word, which then I would use Word anyway. But then I had them pieces, like chapter by chapter. Now I just do one big manuscript and I'll tell them, this is the chapter, might highlight it or something, or I use different colors too. So read the blue sort of thing. So I use Word. Sometimes I also use Scrivener. And let me see if I can remember how to screen share and not. Are you gonna give me the menu?
Second down on the left.
It's
application.
My computer's going slow because I've got a couple things open now.
Okay.
Go. There we go. Okay. So this is my Scrivener for, it was originally going to be called The Earl's Return, but now it's, I don't know that I have a title for this one. It's the prequel to that Regency non-JAF story. So I don't know how many chapters into this before I realized, you know what? I need to make this a prequel and no one's going to care about these characters until the other ones are done. So I had to stop this. And this is just the first one that opened up. I think I was going through and doing word counts or something. So that's why I was most. But what I like is that it's got these note card sort of things. The background I have set to corkboard, but you can change the background apparently. And then over here where my cursor's at, there's these little folders. And so I've got meet the characters, and then I can divide them by scene. So this is a chapter, and you don't want to name them chapter 1 and everything. Scrivener can format ebooks and also print. I've not learned how to do that. What I do is I would have it like this and then I copy and paste into Word. But you can do an entire thing in Scrivener if you actually watch the videos and pay attention. So, but Chastity learns by doing, so she just goes and does it. So anyway, I've got the manuscript here. I've got the different scenes. And what I also like is that I can then just move the whole thing. Say I want to do Stephen's point of view first. Oh, look, now we start with Stephen's point of view. And I don't know why everything's defaulted to Courier New. I hate that font. So I guess I didn't. I think I started in Word and then I copied and that was like the default thing and I haven't gone back because I'm not typing in it. But I don't type in Courier New. Okay, I'm going to go back to Clara. And say the scenes out of order. I can move the whole thing. You can also label them. So notes, character notes, you can edit them and make your own labels for them. I've got other ones where this was especially helpful in Renewed Hope, where I had all the different characters and wasn't always sure if I wanted Caroline's scene next to Truman's, that sort of thing, and I could move them around. So that is Scrivener, a really quick crash course, but there's YouTube videos about it that can tell you more about it. It is not a subscription you pay for at one time, and I think every once in a while I'll get an email about an update or something, but I've had it for years and I like it. I actually want to use it more often now because I think it's going to be more functional for me. Because then it keeps the outline in one spot, right? And I've already talked about the fact that I have papers everywhere. So that's Scrivener. And then let me share the other thing. For my print books, what I'm doing now is InDesign, which is an Adobe Creative Cloud application. And
I want to learn that.
yeah, well, once you learn it, I think it's easier than Word and things don't move around, which is really nice compared to Word. However, it still takes quite a bit of time. And I think I'm just going to start doing press books like Leenie does because I always want to be Leenie when I grew up. But you can personalize the headers and footers with these master pages. So whatever you type here will be on every single page that is labeled A, which is blank for this one. B master is going to have blank here, entirely blank. And C master here is, it just has footers, I thought, somewhere. If I did this correctly. Oh, no, I've got a child at the door. So then I can click on the actual page and it'll show me, look, I've got the page here with just the number versus like the title page. I've got nothing because it's a B master. Then I can also control no, that's not it, paragraph list. So here, I've got the title, but then if I change it to subtitle, well, maybe it won't. Are you going to let me? There we go. I can highlight that, or I can just stick the cursor there and it'll change to subtitle. I'll change the whole thing.
Oh, cool.
And then this is also helpful if you are specific about, like I can do drop caps for
I want to learn
beginning.
how to do drop caps.
This is also helpful if you are one that wants to watch your widows and orphans, and that's where I've got all the different paragraph styles. And sometimes it's really annoying to find the right thing. Let me see if I can edit. Basic. You can change the leading and tracking, and that'll make it take up more space or less space on the line. So then you can scoot the widow or orphan out of the way. So that's helpful. Like if you don't want, this one line to be on that page sort of thing. So I'll close that and not save because I screwed around in there. And I do use Juto for my ebooks. I did want to mention that a lot of times, I think it's draft to digital. You can just upload a PDF and it will make an EPUB and a Mobi for you. So you don't need to worry about that. Kindle can work with just a Word document. You don't have to have a specialty file. And I've always seen it convert a table of contents for me. My first couple books, I didn't know anything about Juto and things like that. And also Juto is one that you buy once. It's not a subscription thing where it's taken out monthly. So, and I've changed computers a few times and I've been able to go back and download it on a new device. So that's also helpful. So it can stay on focus better because I actually wrote these things down.
There you go. I've also heard that Readsy has a formatting service that is free, and I don't know exactly if they just do ebooks or what they do, but I have heard that. So if anyone's listening that was author type person that wants to check that out, they could.
Oh, I had one more thing. I've also done, instead of typing, I've recorded stories on Dragon for word dictation, and then that opens like in a Dragon pad, and then I usually put that in Microsoft Word. And I was doing really good with that over the summer. I did most of my Loving Elizabeth stories were that way, and I think that's what I'm going to have to end up starting to do again because I'm still having some issues with like brain to finger typing issues with the brain fog stuff. But I'm slurring less words now, so I think I can actually dictate again, because for a while I was like, my hand hurts and I can't get the words to come to my fingers, but I can't talk either very well. So progress.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's.
Yeah, I do use Dragon somewhat. I was much better before January. I was doing really well with it, and I really haven't used it since then.
I forget I have it. I need to use it.
We'll save that arm, shoulders.
Yes, because I'm telling you, sometimes I wake up in the night, I hurt.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I've got to.
I need to mail you the stuff. I've got it right here.
You do? Look, you've got it in your hand. You know where it is.
I
Put it
could
in the mailbox.
I know, I finally found it. I just need to ship it through the computer screen to you, because the only thing I wish is
I have these fears that you're going to pack it in a box and lose it again.
No, see, I'm not going to do that now.
Okay.
But I wish I had one that had like a belt loop or something. So, because I'll fold laundry or something, or at least I used to. Now that it exhausts me too much. But I could, if you're just laying down in bed or something, then that's nice. So yeah, like I'll like stuff it in my bra. But then I'm always worried that I'm gonna like poke a button or something. And one time I did, not with that, but like I did something else and I erased something by accident. So that was a sad day. But yeah, I do need to get that out to you.
Okay.
So,
yes.
I will give that to my husband when he comes back. That can be his errand to do, because the post office exhausts me. I have to stand in line for a long time, and yeah, I have to buy supplies to ship it. So there you go. That can be his thing.
There you go.
So if you don't get it, blame Doug. It's not my fault anymore.
Okay.
It was my fault for the other like 6 months, but no longer.
All right. Well, we are at an hour and 15 minutes already, and we haven't gotten to anything that we use for getting the word out, like social media, websites, or making graphics or anything like that. So do we want to even try to tackle that, or should we just leave that for another time?
I propose we make part 2. That we do part 2.
Because
I would hate to rush it, and I got to be, I only got half hour before I have to be another.
Yeah, exactly. Don't want to rush it, and don't want to belabor it either. But
no,
although we're pretty good at that.
I'm capable of being short-winded, so. I had some useful things to show. Okay,
you did.
I wasn't just chatty.
And I confess, I quite enjoyed sharing my screen today. It reminded me of the online school.
Yeah.
I did that all the time, every day in the online school. So
I forgot that I could do that until you mentioned it, because I made Leenie share the quote when I could have done it.
Yeah.
I did that while you were gone with the dog. So
Okay.
So yeah, oops, I forgot that I could do that. That is nice. For those that are just watching, with our previous videos with Be Live, that's what it's called, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Be Live. Yeah.
You have to have a subscription, and Leenie was the only one. I did have a free trial for a little bit. So when she was on vacation, I think one time or sick or something, I did it once. But yeah, the only person that's in control can share the screens. So Leenie was always the one with the fun things to share. So now we can share too. Ooh.
Yeah.
And the person who's hosting can still like mute people and kick them out and everything. There are some perks to being the host, but now we can all take turns and share it as long as we can figure it out. So.
And it means that I don't have to be here every single week. Which,
yes.
Other than that one Saturday for the last year, I've had to be, whether I felt like it or had other things. Go out with someone and be like, I have to be home by.
Right, because she's not like me and Zoe, where we're just like, I don't know about this. Like, I might not be able to do next week because I'll probably be pretty well packed, and my husband will have just gotten back, and things could be pretty hectic here. Yeah, so, and I don't feel guilty about that in the least, but I think Leenie probably would.
Yeah.
Especially if like she's the host, it's like, oh, we can't do the video at all because I can't be there. Whereas I'd be like, okay, we're okay without a week. Whereas some people I think feel more responsible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have overdeveloped a sense of responsibility, I tell you.
Yeah.
That's why I get things done the way that I do, is because I feel guilty.
I don't want to hear these things. I just want to see, else. I want to reap the rewards without any of the hard work. I mean, come on. Who do you think I am?
I want to work hard. I just don't want the guilt. I'm kind of like, well, you don't like it. Screw you.
Yeah, I'm joking. I do definitely believe in hard work. And I know there's not handouts in life. Right. Well, not career-wise. So at least there shouldn't be. Aunt Becky with college, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll have I paid almost $500,000 on my own for college. No, not nowhere near that much, but still way too much. So, not that I've actually paid it. I owe it.
You will eventually get it all paid off someday.
Sure. Let's end on a happier note than student loans, though.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, if you have an ability to write, you might want to consider being an author rather than going to school and getting those loans.
I wish I would have known about this and thought about this back then. Yeah. I really, really did. Or I could have used that writing skill to like apply for more scholarships and stuff, but I didn't. And I just learning to be a writer and all the steps you go through, especially as an indie where you wear all the hats, has been really good. Stressful, but really good. I mean, I've learned so much about myself. My self-esteem is totally different now. So, but we can talk about more of that later.
We should have done this 20 years ago, but then you couldn't self-publish 20 years ago either.
True. Not without knowing all the code. So you have one big block.
Yeah, there was no Kindle.
Nope.
Kindle's only been around 10 years, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was still carrying paperbacks with me everywhere I went.
Yeah.
It's why I like a big purse, because I had a purse at one time. I used to carry purse, and I still own them, but they're falling apart, so I don't use them. I could keep 2 books and a pair and a change of clothes, and my wallet in these purses, and I regularly did.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know I was told in high school that I should be a writer, but there was no money to be made in it at that time because it was all, luck of the draw with the traditional publishers and stuff like that. So I just didn't really take it as a serious option and passed on it. And went to school to be a teacher instead, which it's also part of who I am. And I'm a
Well, I
teacher.
think you could have done well, though. Like, I think you would have put the work into it
And you would
to,
have got a contract. Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, you've got the skill and you would have put the work into it. You know, if they come back and give you a contract and say, yeah, but we need to edit this, then maybe you wouldn't like that part of
No.
I want to be in control. But I don't think you would shirk from doing it because it's too hard, which is what some people do. And that's not a really good reason to self-publish, is just because, well, it's too hard to do, or I don't want to cut things out because they're my darlings,
Right.
Yeah, so I think you could have still excelled, but I think you're way happier than you would be as an AD.
Definitely.
So
Definitely.
yeah.
And I think it physically shows, because when you were teaching, you were a mess.
Oh,
And I see you doing things now, Leenie, that you weren't able to do before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still a bit of a mess in the health places.
But you're better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In some ways I am. In some ways I haven't gotten to where I would like to be. But
and I can tell when you're stressed, because when you're stressed, like the money's not coming in, whatever's stressing, then you start feeling bad again.
It's true. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, my body has a delicate balance that is easily skewed one way or the other. So it's just the way it is. There's nothing I can do about it, really.
But you've improved, and that's the thing. It's the important. That's the important point, is you've improved. Everyone's going to improve.
I am not as sick as I was when I was teaching, for sure, because I used to spend, every weekend pretty much sick, and I was teaching and I was trying to do the writing, and it was a lot. So I'm very grateful, I guess, and I don't want to have to go back to that. And that's another thing that kind of pushes me, and I just tend to be intense, I guess. I don't know why, because I used to be, a very carefree young child, and I still am in some ways, but I don't know. It's my worry gene, I guess, is really strong.
Yep.
Girl, stop apologizing. There you go.
I'm sorry. I live in Canada. This is what we do.
She has become a Canadian.
No, I'm just saying,
25 years, but
being intense is totally fine.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you need to work out your own balance. That's good for you, but
that's the problem. The balance.
Balance. I also follow a mom a mom blogger that's like, there is no balance, and also points out that no one asks men about balance. So, just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, my husband doesn't know balance either. So we are quite the family.
I have no husband, so I wouldn't know.
And then I have children who, to motivate them can be challenging. Of course, once they get motivated to do something, then there's, not much stopping them. But especially the youngest one, he's just rather not do anything sort of kid right now. So
the quote, like, she thought she could, so she did, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've seen a mom version of it about a kid that was like, she thought she could, so she did, and now she's in timeout. It was like a picture of like a 3-year-old girl with pigtails. That's my kids.
Yeah.
Especially the younger one, but both of them.
Yeah. No, mine were never too horrible that way. I mean, they got in trouble plenty, but even the ADHD one, he's not as impulsive as some. Like he kind of gets spinny and he can't focus, and he'll get fidgety, I guess is the word. He'll get fidgety in things, but it's not the same as, I know I've seen kids with ADHD in school that are, much worse with impulsivity control and things like that.
Yeah. The
older one, I think, probably had more trouble with impulsivity, and he's not diagnosed, than the younger one did. He would do things like, well, it was because he got bored. He's very intelligent.
Because he could.
when he wants to be. So, he would get bored in class, so he'd get up and he'd leave. Grade 2. And then come back.
So that's not
yeah.
just mine. Okay.
No.
Teddy does that. So like in homeschooling, yeah.
Yeah.
There's certain I'm gonna have to next year I'm gonna have to start planning things geared more towards his level and not just towards his grade. Yeah, because there's some things where he's just like, no, I already know this. And even Annie, she went to pre-kindergarten and daycare since she was 3, so she knows colors and shapes and letters and numbers, and those are the requirements for kindergarten because they can't assume everyone else knows that going into it. So you don't really get 1 + 1 until 1st grade. So yeah, she's just so bored, and she's like, this is not math. And I'm like, it is. This is, yeah. Like, I just need you. Well, her problem, though, is that what I'm worried about is I have to show proof of progress, like with a test. And she needs, like, I could see her just saying, like, no, I'm bored. I don't want to do this. So, like, that's what I'm trying to, like, unfortunately, I'm still having to train her to a test a little bit, even though I homeschool. But that's not why I pulled her out. Although there's plenty of people that homeschool that do. So that's, yeah. But she's only 5, so hopefully next year will go better.
See, that's my oldest. He was in a split class, so there was grade 1 and grade 2 in the same room. So in grade 1, he learned all of grade 1 and he learned all of the grade 2 stuff.
Oh.
So when he got to grade 2, he was super bored because he already knew it all. So we did move him then to a different school. It was within the same school, but it was a different building where they had a straight grade 3 class, and took care of that problem. There were other issues that came in then, but you can't avoid all issues in school when you have a bunch of kids together. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, we are just about at an hour and a half.
Okay.
And you know me with the schedule.
Okay, but YouTube will let us go for 8 hours.
They
Yes,
will.
I know.
We should do that sometime. Just have a marathon chat session.
No.
Live video.
Oh boy.
I don't think I could. I would be like Ben, and I'd be, leaving and going and doing something because I know where he gets it. I totally understand where he gets it. It doesn't make it any easier to deal with. But,
oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah. Because he would do something and I would say, and don't you even think of doing blah, 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 blah. And he'd look at me and go, how did you know I was going to do that?
Yep.
Because I think the same way.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I could anticipate with him some of the things that he was going to do. The youngest one, it's taken a little more work to figure out because he's just quiet. He's very quiet. He doesn't say anything. Yeah. So anyway, we should get going and close off the live because other people may need to go do things as well.
Right.
Not that anyone joined us today. I don't think. I think it was just us talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's
they
okay.
missed.
They'll probably watch it on the replay again.
Yeah. And they can skip through some of the stuff they don't want to see, right?
Right.
Anyway, we will say goodbye for this week, and we'll hope to see you next week. At least a couple of us will maybe see you next week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because Rose might not be here. Anyway,
Yeah.
see ya.
Bye.
Bye.